Are you ready for next level growth in your business? Welcome to the Lindsay Anderson Show, where we pull back the curtain on the exact strategies, tools, and mindsets that build million-dollar empires. If you're hungry for more time, more freedom, and a whole lot more impact, you've come to the right place. Buckle up, because we're about to ignite your business journey. Now, here's Lindsay.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of The Lindsay Anderson Show. I'm interviewing Miss Laura Wright. Miss Laura Wright is a coach and business consultant who transforms overworked and underpaid businesswomen into seven-figure empire builders by creating structure in their business and showing them how to completely reframe how they think about their business model. Laura believes that when smart women hold true wealth, that is how we change the world. She is committed to helping brilliant-minded women who have amazing service to give to the world understand how to do it in a way that has them at their highest potential and making the most amount of money. Her big desire is for women to create their own economy. I'm so excited to bring Laura on today. Welcome to the show, Laura.
I'm so happy to be here. And you guys might not have seen it, or maybe you did. While the glorious and illustrious Lindsay was introducing me, my husband brought me a beautiful glass of wine. And I bring that to the table to say that you can build the life you desire the way you desire it. So I thought that was a fun little thing. But Lindsay, I'm excited. I want to dive in. I want to talk. I want to tell everybody all the things. I'm just excited for today.
Got a big cheers to your husband for bringing you this glass of wine. Thank you, husband. I love it. Congratulations on that aspect of your life. Really.
Things go well. I always like to say that this is my reward. I must have done something right in one of my lives, because we actually were able to retire my husband about 10 years ago so he could be primary parent and take care of our house. That's something I always love to bring to the table, because when you are the business owner, when you want to create things, you can really design what you want. So it's just a fun little thing that happens.
Laura, if you were to say something that you're known for, what would you say?
So my company is named Epic at Sales, and I am known as being like a sales ninja. There isn't a person or a thing that I can't sell to, but I also like the word epic, and I just want to describe it because E is enjoyable, P is profitable, I is intentional, and C is community based. And so I am known for doing sales in a way that are ethical, that are energetic and feel good.
Can you share, was there a pivotal moment in your life that made you realize that this was your sweet spot and what you need to be bringing to the world?
Oh, yeah. I'll give you shortened version versus long version. So, number one, are we allowed to curse? I'm like, I am that B. And
Go
maybe
for
we
it.
can. I am that bitch. I am the natural salesperson, but not in a slimy way. However, I do know there was a really important moment in my life where I had been running a multi-seven-figure real estate investment company. And this funny little thing happened called 2008, where everything crashed and I lost everything. Like, imagine a disaster and then make it a little bit worse. And the only thing that didn't happen was we didn't lose our home because my boyfriend at the time, now husband, owned the house. So they couldn't take it. Like, it was not good. And I remember being in these, like, really in the dumps, because what do you do when you run a big company? You're not employable. So what I want to do is say I just dusted myself off, picked myself up and got going. But I didn't. What I actually did was I went and had a conversation with a coach, because I'm like, what do I do? And she said something and I said something, and I bought like her tiny little program. So I was trying to figure myself out. And she's, Laura, you said something on the sales call. I know it doesn't make any sense, but could you come do some sales for me? And so I helped her go from 250 in 1 year to 1.2 million by restructuring her offers and her sales process. And I did the done for you sales for her. And so when I started seeing what I was doing, I was like, oh, I'll go do this for more people. So I started taking on other clients, and I was doing done for you sales for other clients. And what happens is what happens to everyone. You hit a cap. I couldn't work with any more clients. I didn't have any more time in the day, and I was exhausted. And so I had this pivotal moment where I spoke to somebody and she's, you're just epic at sales. And I was like, I need to teach other people how to do this. And that was like the click over moment that let me just turn back and see the pathway of my life. Every point where sales had been the thing. And when I figured that out, instead of me doing it for other people, I started teaching other women, especially, how to do sales in a way where you can go from 250 a year in a coaching business to 1.2 million, how you can sell million-dollar programs and projects. So that was long story long is the best way to say that one.
And why have you picked women? Why do women have a unique set of circumstances that you need to help?
Okay, great question. So to be truthful, I do work with an occasional amazing man. It's not necessarily about gender. It's about the fact that number one, women tend to not be taught how to sell. And most historical archetypes for sales are pale, male, and stale. And what I mean by that is they are coercion, they are sleazy, they're slimy, you're laughing. But I want you to think about when you think about sales, how everyone conjures up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And also it's shame-based sales. And again, this isn't about men or women. It's the fact that what's been taught, and I was taught it. Like I learned my first entry point into sales was coercion, persuasion, shame based, push the pain point, get the money sales. And I recoiled from it. It felt terrible. And so in my first job, I just tried doing things differently. I started trying to sell with love, energetic connection, consent, no high pressure tactics. And my numbers went like through the roof. And what I really learned again is women tend to undercharge, over deliver, and they don't understand how to package high ticket offers. So that's where my passion goes to. I think a lot of times men aren't taught the same things the way women are. And I also think there's a generational change happen. Like I can see women who are younger than me stepping into the workforce and sales, but also into their own businesses, and they don't have the fear or discomfort. But there's a lot of women out there who feel uncomfortable doing sales. And I think sales is the most critical piece. It's the most important skill you need to have. It is the thing that saved my life. Like literally the only reason I came back from the failures that I've had, and I've had many, is that when I fall down, I dust myself off and I go sell something. And I know how to, at any given time, make money just like that.
It's a powerful skill set that can also, like, it also radiates to family and relationships and every aspect of your life. I have found will improve the more you increase your sales skills. This communication skill.
1,000%. Thank you. That's literally what sales is. Sales is having a conversation. The difference is when you get someone to the yes, you collect a credit card, you collect payment.
Even better. Yeah, which is great. And you mentioned the top three problems. And so one was you said women undercharge. What were the other two?
They undercharge and overdeliver. They don't understand or feel comfortable selling high ticket. And then I think the other thing is this. Historically and traditionally, a lot of people will say they want to run a business and they'll go get capital and they will then use the capital to go build their business. Most women, because we're not taught about these kind of things and what's changing with the internet, is that we go out and we only use what we sell. So if we are undercharging, over serving, we don't have enough to give enough to make the impact changes we want to make. We're smart, we're great. And in fact, most people out there who are mediocre are selling at probably 10 times the amount you might be selling at. And I'm not saying for you to be mediocre, I'm saying to match the value of your services with what you actually need to receive. The number one thing I do with women, almost 100% of the time, the first conversation we have when we start to work together is I help them. I used to call it raise their rates, but now what I actually say is properly price their services.
Yes. And you do that how?
Oh, great question. So the first thing that I do is I have a fun little math equation where I ask them basically, how many clients can you actually or do you desire to serve in a year? And how much money do you want to make? And then we divide the amount by the number of clients and we get in a money amount. And here's what that does. It just tells you the number that you need to be charging on average to hit your goal. And I'm going to give you a specific example. One of my clients showed up just recently and she's been selling a program for about $5,000 and she wants to hit 300,000, about 350 this year. She only has space to work with about 20 to 30 clients in a year. Do the math. Even 30 times 5K, which I can't do in my head right this minute, is not enough to hit that goal. And so she is constantly not hitting her income goal. Also, the way she's packaged up her offers takes so much time and energy. She can't take more than 20 or 30 clients. So here's what we did. We went in, we did the math, and what we learned was her average price point needs to be 15K for her to hit her income goal with the number of clients she wants to work with. So what we did was we didn't just change her 5K program into 15K. We went and looked at it and decided and created a sales container, a high level, mid level, and a low level so that she can sell keep people in the ascension model, work with them longer, sell at the right rate. And she actually only needs about 15 to 20 clients to actually hit her goal this year. The second thing that we're going to do after we've got that work going is I'm going to help her build a leveraged offer so she could put 5, 10, 50, a million people into it and still continue making money. That's where you stop being a service provider and you become a business owner.
I love that. And I love how you painted that out. It always surprises me because we run the same math over here in my agency, but it always surprises me that people have these crazy goals and they've never bothered to even do that simple math. Like, we're not even talking you need an Excel spreadsheet on this.
I agree. You have to, it's also like it soothes the nervous system to know that your maths. If I literally just go get 12 clients, and I want to tell you this too, you can run a multi 6-figure business, usually with about 10 to 12 clients if you are priced appropriately.
Boom. That's all you guys need to know. Now, in the green room, we were talking just a little bit about obviously this woman that you shared the story about. You taught her some new skills, some new ways of thinking. The old ways of thinking got you here, but they're not going to get you there. And it can be very hard and like difficult to learn new ways. And so, learning curve thing is a real situation. What have you ran into in regards to that?
Okay, two things are really cool. So, number one, give yourself a break because here's the deal. I only work with really brilliant people just like you do, Lindsay, and we're smart. We know what we're doing, and we're usually experts in the field. And when we try something new, it feels so freaking uncomfortable. And it's really easy to revert back to old things. So, I do two things to help my clients feel really good. One is a new tool. I've been playing with Chat GPT, and actually, I have to put a plug in that I love Gemini more because I've taught Gemini how to speak to me in a really kind and loving way. It's really pleasant and I enjoy the experience. Plus, it has a better memory. But what I do is I go in and I practice things that I want to do with Gemini acting as an ideal client. So I can go get dust off the cobwebs and learn new things before I go do it live. There's three things that I do to do the learning curve. One, I've been using AI tools. Two, I do something I call a 100 call challenge with all of my clients. It doesn't mean you actually go do 100 sales calls. It's more about the thing about sales that I love more than anything. Well, I love a lot of things about it, but it's not like when you go to the gym. Like if you went to the gym, let's say you wanted to just get fit and do all the things, you can't go to the gym for like 8 hours in a day, 5 days a week and get better results. In fact, you might actually even harm yourself by doing that. However, with sales, you can spend and do 6 or 8 calls in a day, and then the next day do 6 or 8 more. And the more you do in a shorter amount of time, the better your skill set gets. So I have my clients go do more in a shorter amount of time. And what it does is it stops there being this preciousness. When you have the sale, like this one counts, this one matters, then you act differently. When you go talk to a whole bunch of people, like 100 people in a short amount of time, you start to get to that detached, relaxed place and it feels very easy. And then here's the other one. So when you're in this zone, when you want to elevate with sales, I always tell people you can't fuck it up. Here's the best part about how you get past the learning curve is you debrief after every call. What I do is I teach something called don't stack your nose. And what that actually means is whether you get a yes or a no, after the call, you debrief it. And I just clear my energy out on an energetic level, but on a practical level, I check in. Was this an ideal client? Because if it wasn't, then I didn't miss the sale. Maybe we misaligned on how we marketed, which I know you get all those pieces. Was this person somebody who was perfectly aligned? What was something that I did in the process? And I'm going to give you an example. A couple of days ago, I had an experience I haven't had in a long time. I got 4 hard no's in the same day. And I want to be careful how I say this, but I don't get no's. I haven't had a no in like years. It was really uncomfortable, but I'm trying something new. I was doing a new process. I'm actually chatting versus talking to somebody. And when I went to go not stack my nose and look at all 4, here's what I learned. One, I didn't want to work with one of the clients at all. I was just like in the zone of got a goal, I'm doing sales, I'm practicing a new thing, go do it. I'm like, I didn't even want to work with her. Set it down. When I looked at the other one, I was like, I think I missed something. And then when I looked at the third one, I realized what I missed. I was in a chat and I skipped one of my 5 steps in my 5 steps to sales process. I can't even believe I didn't even notice it. But the reason why I was able to see the pattern of where I made the mistake was because I went back and debriefed it. And then energetically, I set them all down. And here's what ended up happening today. I got really ignited, really excited. I put a post out and I have three people who've reached out to work with me. One wants to know all the details for my mastermind. The other, we're in conversation. And the third one's a referral that we're going to have an actual sales call. So all of that can shift really fast when you give yourself the gift of go through the learning process.
I loved it. I love it, Laura. I love it when your husband brings in that wine so we can have a real conversation finally. My question is, so yes, and I have also found this like reps for sales calls, like you got to do the reps. You got to do the reps. The more reps, the better. I like 100. Where do you tell your clients to find all these calls?
This is my favorite thing. Okay. So I teach something called a treasure hunt, first and foremost, and I'll give it to you really briefly. There are missed connections, old opportunities that you haven't gone back to. I always say this, I would rather talk to 10 people 10 times than 100 new people once. So I always teach my clients how to go see the people who are around them. And the second most important thing, I can find my ideal clients like laser focused, snap a finger in any room. In fact, I joke about it because I'll usually go into a physical room, sit down and start laughing because the person I'm sitting next to is like an ideal client. I'll get on networking calls. I'll be like, oh yeah, you're my person. Here's how I'm able to do that. I know who this real person is. So we call her seven figure Sarah in our company. She is actually a live, real human being that we've worked with. It's not an amalgamation. She has very specific needs, very specific desires, outcomes that she wants, and she's a real life person. And what's really funny is every time I recall her up, I will then sign a client whose name is usually Sarah. The last person who just joined is also
Attracting the same client.
true. But here's what starts to happen when you know her that clearly, and I use her, but it can be him, you can find them. And I'm going to give you an example. So many years ago, I worked with this amazing woman who helps kids get into the college of their choice. And it's a really cool process because it's not like mom and dad go pay for it. It's literally kid becomes the person that the college chooses. It's amazing. And when we're starting to talk, she kept doing that. Have you ever heard of spray and pray? Where you're like, I'll reach out to 1 million people and somebody might buy from me. And she was at all different price points. He was in mess. So we came in and I asked her to do the process with me of picking one client that she had that she loved, highest paying, best client ever. And if she could have 100 of that same person, who was it? And the moment we did that, we detailed exactly who the person was. In fact, it wasn't just a person because this person was sending referrals from other family members. It was remarkable. When we figured out who they were, she works with a lot of immigrant parents who come from another country and bring their kid here, want to get their kid into school. We narrowed down to the point of finding a very specific province in a specific country of where these people are from. And the coolest thing ever happened. When she said that, she's, how do I find this person, Laura? I'm like, now that you know who they are, where are they? And something clicked. She lived in DC and there was an embassy that had a gala once a year that literally had all of these people in the room. And it was going to be in like 2 or 3 weeks. And she was aware of it. And she's, I can buy a ticket. I can go there. All the people I need are in the room. That exact same thing can happen online when you know who your ideal client is. It's literally like I can go on LinkedIn and it's like I went to a live event and I can just look around the room and I'm like, mine, not mine, not mine. And that's how I know who to reach out to. And then the second side of that is that's how you write your content. Any content that you're producing, or if you're running ads, the language speaks to one person.
That's right. We teach the same thing. I call mine the one true client method. And it has to be a real person, no Frankenstein versions over here.
Wait a minute, how old am I? And what was really funny was we always send my content or my marketing emails to our entire list, even to clients, because I still want to see if clients respond. And do you know the very first person who responded to my message?
Sarah.
Literally. And it was amazing because you can tell that it works. So do not Frankenstein. Listen to Lindsay. Do not Frankenstein. Pick the one true client and you can easily find her.
And I think and I'm sure you'll agree with this, the biggest problem people make on social media is they think the content is going to bring people in, but that's just one piece. Laura mentions, no, I go and find them. I am connecting with them. I'm not passively hoping they'll find my content. This is the key.
Push and pull marketing. So I used to call it bubble up posts. So I put out an email or I put out a post and you know who I'm reaching out to? Not the people who comment on it, but the people who are liking it or the people who are opening it. So my team does a thing for me where every time we send out an email, they pull a list for me of everyone who opens it. Now, that's great. I can look at those names. If someone resonates and stands out, I'll go reach out to them. Do you know who I'm looking for? I'm looking for the person who opened the same email 6 times. I'm looking for the person who opened the last 6 emails 6 times. And guess what I do? I platform jump. Instead of emailing that person, I'll go on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram and I will connect with them genuinely and I'll send them a little message. Sometimes I'm cheeky and I'm like, hey, I love technology. I can see that you're opening everything, but you're not taking action. What's going on? And then get into conversation. And that's the other thing I really want everyone to hear. Sales is not something you do to someone. You don't go in and send the long email that tells me buy everything all of a sudden. No, send them an email to engage, send them a chat to engage. When they respond, have a real conversation and reply back. There is a formula to do this. There is a pathway to guide them, but don't just try to jam it all in there and give them everything all at once.
I love it. I love it, Laura. This is fantastic. I love the treasure hunt idea. Laura just gave you a great way to treasure hunt those people that open your emails and then platform jump. This is fantastic. Okay. Tell me a little bit about what is something that the audience can do daily to get better at sales and to feel more of this authentic sales that you're talking about.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what to do because I like doing that sometimes too. You know how you have a great sales conversation and it went really well and you're buzzy and high, and then you have a sales conversation that went really terrible and you feel all low and you think you're going to go change everything. I'll tell you what's actually happening and what to do differently. You're selling just by winging it. What you need is a formula to follow. So, what I do and what I did for myself a million years ago when I transitioned from doing sales for other people to coaching other people on how to do it was I took a month, and it was actually 28 days because it was the month of February. And I just did sales conversations. And at the end of that, I had 13 new clients. I had made 10K in cash, which at the time, this was back in 2011 or 12. It was a good moment because I was going from like nothing.
Yeah.
I booked out $136,000. But I'm going to tell you why this all worked. I did the same formula on every single sales call. And what that gave to me was I knew what I could count on. I knew if I talked to 10 people, exactly how many people would close. I knew that when I got to the end of that month, I could look back and see what worked and what didn't because I was having exactly the same conversation, but because I don't use scripts, but I was using the same formula. I was hitting the same marks, my 5 steps to yes that I teach. And when I did that, I could count on myself. And the best thing of all happened. All of that activity that I did during that month was great, but it wasn't the best thing. What was the best thing is about 8 out of those 13 that bought from me bought a small thing. And guess how many of them then bought the next big thing? Almost all of them. And then all those people that I had talked to that didn't buy, I went and did my 100 call challenge. It turned into me talking to 37 people. Not all 37 bought. Honestly, only 13 did, but a couple more. We had follow up calls and they bought the next month. But the activity got my rocket ship up in the air. But it all goes back to on every call, I knew that I was doing my 5 steps and I could know what the outcome would be. It would be yes, it would be no, or it would be I needed more information and I would schedule a second call. So I could count on myself. That's what I recommend when you're doing sales. Don't go willy-nilly style. Again, don't Frankenstein your ideal client. Don't Frankenstein different styles of sales. Pick a formula that feels good and works and follow it over and over. It's where you get true mastery.
True mastery, as well as you lose this roller coaster feeling in your business. Where's my next sale coming from? I'm starting at zero. All of the anxiety can leave when you can rely on a system and those metrics and those numbers.
It's really funny. I literally just wrote an email the other day about getting off the roller coaster and getting consistent months. So yes.
I love it. So you're so accomplished. We've talked about so much today on our interview. Let's zoom out a little bit. What is one thing you wish you would have known before you got started? Here we are today. One thing, or only one.
Don't start with a small price point, and when you get bigger and get bigger, price appropriately and ask for more. The first coaching package I sold, I feel embarrassed to say this, was like $497 for 3 months of support. That's insane. I currently sell my one-to-one coaching for $100,000. It is not for everyone. It is for a very specific person and it's for a 12-month term. And I have lots of other ways to work with somebody. but ask for more. Don't start at a tiny number that doesn't work for you. Make sure that you are properly priced.
I love it. Laura, what a true pleasure. Hopefully, we can have you on again. Thank you for being a guest on the show. Before I let you go, I'm going to turn the time over to you. Tell us how to find you and anything else you want the audience to know.
Absolutely. Okay. So if you want my 5 steps to yes, and you want some support overcoming objections, I have something for everyone on this call and watching this live stream or however you find us. Go to my site. It's laurawrightofficial.com/gift. And you're going to access my overcoming objections PDF. What's amazing about that is I also detail my 5 steps to yes. So you can get that. If you want to actually engage with me, come on to LinkedIn. I am in LinkedIn /epic, EPICATSALES, epic at sales, because guess what? There's a couple Laura Wrights out there in the world, and a few of them are famous, and a few of them are me. Maybe just one's me. But come join me on LinkedIn. I'm one of those real life people. If you connect with me on LinkedIn, I will actually respond and engage, and you don't have to worry. You can legitimately come in and ask me a question. You can follow my content. I'll give you some support, some encouragement, some tips and some tools. And also, if you do really want to explore working together, that's a great place to go.
I love it. Laura, thank you so much for sharing your expertise on the show today. There you have it, folks. Another amazing episode of The Lindsay Anderson Show. A big thank you to Laura for sharing her expertise here on the show today. Now, if you're looking for my 5-step system on how to generate high quality, high ticket sales on social media, make sure you're signed up for my upcoming workshop by going to lindsayaa.com/workshop. I'll walk you through these 5 steps on how to create content, have those conversations, and authentically make sales all on social media. I'll see you at lindsayaa.com/workshop. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Cheers to you and your success.
That's a wrap for today's episode of The Lindsay Anderson Show. If you loved this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share how you're leveling up your business. Want more? Connect with Lindsay Anderson and get the tools you need to crush your goals at lindsayaa.com. Until next time, keep pushing, keep growing, and turn those business dreams into reality.